that's a vicious cycle, and we need to fucking break that. Welcome everyone to another episode of Garbage to Gold. I'm your host, Joe Davis. Thank you for being here. I have a great video, great episode planned for you guys today. A lot I want to talk about. But first, before I get going, before I get too far along and start ranting and raving, which is pretty much my favorite thing to do, first, make sure to subscribe to our channel. Give this video a thumbs up. Click that subscribe bell. Share this video with more like-minded people like yourself, people like me, people like you. We want to reach as many like-minded people as we possibly can because we want to grow together. We want to grow with you. I want to meet all these people that I'm talking to and people that are listening to me and helping me. So share this with as many people that you think are going to get value from hearing, good quality content about how men in this country can better their lives, better your financial future, better your mental health, better your physical health, so that we can all lead more productive and happy lives and raise great families and meet great people and just have, that quality of life that everyone strives for. But sometimes seems like it's not reachable, almost like it's not attainable. It's just not true. Excuse me. We all are striving for, a purpose, for something better than what we currently have. And that is like the essence of, being a man, is striving to be better than what you are today, tomorrow. Always never just giving up, never being satisfied, never being, I've done enough, always pushing for a little bit more, not just for yourself, but for your family, for the people around you that rely on you. Maybe you're somebody that, doesn't have kids or a wife yet, and you just have, your group of friends. Your group of friends, are looking up to you. Like, you should be the leader in your group of friends. All your boys should be looking up to you. You should be the one that, they're following, that they want to emulate, that they want to be like. That's what being a man is all about. And, if you're somebody that has kids and a family, you need to be on point and constantly striving to be your best version of yourself and to have all these great qualities so that your family sees that in you and they respect you and they love you and you're not, a negative aura in their life. I feel like there's just too many people out there that are, not living up to their full potential. They're sad, they're depressed, they're confused, they're scared, and they're projecting all of that, onto the people around them, and you're bringing those people around you down with you, and that's a vicious cycle, and we need to fucking break that. But it's really hard. How do we do that? How do you get men fired up? How do you get how do we get back on course when so clearly in the news today, in our current society here in 2024 in the United States of America, the land of the strongest men ever. I mean, if you look back at our history, this is where the strongest, greatest culture, this is where the best men came to, and we're the breeding ground of the strongest men ever. We literally come over here from fucking Europe on ships, land here through cold, famine, disease. We somehow survived that. Fight off a fucking army, fight off all the Native Americans and whoever else was here that was pissed off about us being here. I'm actually Native American myself, so that part of the story kind of hurts me a bit. But it's history, and I don't deny that it happened. It happened for a reason. The natives, they fought, they lost. is what it is. We're still here, in one way, shape, form, or another. I don't want to get too far on that tangent, but this is where the land of the strongest men in the world are. America. Wind the clocks up. Fast forward to 2024, and we got dudes chopping their dicks off, and it's just a scary state of the world right now. Like, what is going on with men? There are so many attacks on the traditional male in this country. It's sick and it's sad. I mean, you turn on the news and, at least one of the news stations is going to be, running a hit piece on, on men. And, some people say that it's only the white man. Some people say it's only the black man. Some people say it's all the minorities. Some people seem to feel like it's only the white guys, the young American guys. It's only conservative men. One thing is for certain. Okay, and I want to make this very clear. There is a war going on against men in this country. Not just in the United States, but throughout the Western world. There is a war going on, and it's the war on men. And it doesn't matter what color you are, what race you are, whether you're liberal or conservative. There is a war going on against you if you are male. Now, there's also a war against women. That video will come. I'll go on a separate tangent on that for sure. But this video is for what's going on with men in the United States and most of the Western world, and how media, pop culture, social media, feminist groups, special interest groups, from the top to the bottom, everybody's against men right now. What the fuck is that about? It's insane. And it makes you wonder, like, as a man myself, I wonder, are men really these awful, toxic, terrible creatures that are just raping and pillaging everything that they come in contact with? I don't believe that. I don't think that's true at all. Is some of that behavior in our past? Yeah, I mean, if you want to compare us to the fucking Vikings, yeah, the Vikings were men. They were pretty barbaric. But it's just not how men are being portrayed in this country is not accurate, and it's very confusing to the young up and coming man, whether they're black, white, conservative, liberal, Mexican, Asian, whatever. It's very confusing because for years and years and years, men were men. They did the hard jobs, They did. They fought the wars. They were the doctors. They were the people who ran the world. They were the people that you called when you were in danger. The police, the firemen, the strength, the backbone of the world. Why would you ever attack these people? Why would you ever get pissed off at these people? If you really think about it, we can't do shit without men. Like, we don't exist without them. The whole world can't just be women and children. I just don't understand how we got to this point. And when you sit back and you think, okay, what are men really doing so wrong? Excuse me, what are men really doing so wrong? We run into this toxic masculinity shit. And are there certain characteristics to men that can rub people the wrong way? There's definitely certain types of men out there that, they're probably not the best representative of men. And we seem to hone in on, like, the worst characteristics of men and try to lug them in and say that that's all guys in general. It's just not true. Men in this country have become, very, very passive aggressive. They've become very docile, and I don't think it's just men. I think it's everyone in this country, and it's because America has gotten so fucking easy to live in. They're like, I was born in 1992. All right, like life has never been hard since I've been alive. I've seen the World Trade Center go down. I've lived through the dot-com bubble. I lived through the great crash of 2008. But man, I'm from the Midwest. Like, people just kept fucking trucking. All right? Like, we just fucking, we got on with it. I didn't live through, the Cold War era. I didn't live through the Depression. Like, nobody around today that's like, young and middle age, nobody knows what the fuck that's like. It's so fucking easy. We got technology, we got cheap gas, we've got literally fucking high-tech devices in the palm of our hands 24/7. All the information that's out there in the world ever to be consumed is right there in the palm of your hand. But somehow we're getting dumber and fucking weaker. And, there's all these forces going against us right now. And it's not sustainable. This attack on men is truly not sustainable at all. Because, if you think about it, where does it end? If we continue to weaken, your supply of men, it's a very obvious, if you just look down that line of, 5, 10, 15 more years of this pussification of men, it's going to be real bad. All right? We need stronger men. We need more men. We need more women. We need more people, period, I think. And the craziest fucking thing is there's people out there that think we got too many people. We don't have enough people. We don't have enough. The problem is, the biggest problem that we have is not that there's too many people, eating up all the fucking resources and breathing up all the damn good air. It's the fucking government wasting all the shit that we have. Government waste is a way bigger problem than toxic masculinity. Okay? The mismanagement of resources, not just in America, but across the world, is a way bigger problem than toxic masculinity and just men in general, men being men. All right? Like, it's fucking insane. So, for some context here, what makes a man, what separates a fucking shit bum dude, because there's a lot of shit bum dudes out there, the average guy, and what makes somebody great? What makes a man a great man? All right, there's certain characteristics that men have to possess in order to be considered a great man, and that's what every man that's alive today should be striving for, to be great. All right, if you don't have these characteristics that I'm about to list off, you need to start working on getting them. Okay, and it starts by knowing what they are. All right, so for me, the number one thing that a great man has to possess, the characteristics that you have to possess, number one is strength. Number one, you can't be a great man and be a fucking weakling. All right? I'm sorry. It don't work. It really don't work. You have to be a well-rounded in a lot of different areas to be a great man. So your strength, all right? You got to be strong, not just big muscles. You got to be strong mentally, physically, and emotionally. Now I'm going to loop back around to that emotional part. But But that's what makes the most sense. If you look at like your firefighters, your first responders, your military guys, and even like the greatest thinkers of our time, they're good in all of these areas, all right? A lot of the top people, the top producers in this country are very strong mentally, physically, and emotionally, all right? And even our greatest thinkers throughout time have been that way as well. So the second characteristic that you need to possess, and I can't stress this one enough, it's almost as important as the first one, accountability. I've done videos on accountability before, and I do think that, having accountability is by far a characteristic that you have to possess if you're going to continue to progress forward in your life. Okay, if you can't handle criticism, if you're very, very full of yourself and you just blame other people, and you see yourself as somebody that can just do no wrong, there's no growth in that. For me, when I got, into some bad trouble and was going through hard times, the accountability factor, that changed a lot of shit for me. Being able to realize, oh, wow, this is my fault. Like a lot of these problems that I'm having in my life, not having enough money, not scoring very well with ladies, not being in the shape that I want to be in, just not being happy, healthy, that's my fault. Back when I was having those problems, I wasn't taking the accountability. I was blaming it on, all kinds of different things. It was always somebody else's fault. And it wasn't until I finally, took accountability and realized that, hey, if I'm going to get out of this fucking rut, I got to do it. I got to take the accountability. So men that are very accountable, and I love talking to guys, meeting people that I can tell they're accountable. Okay, I can tell by the way they carry themselves and the way they talk to me about their experiences in life that they are very accountable. I hate when I'm talking to somebody and they're fucking blaming they're blaming their girlfriend, they're blaming their dad, their mom, their friends, their people they work with for why they're not where they want to be. They're they're blaming the fucking government. Now the government does suck, and that's kind of low hanging fruit, honestly. But like I can't stand those conversations with guys that just, it sucks when you can just tell that this guy does not take any accountability for any of the problems he's having, and it's always these fucking dudes that are drinking heavy, they're out of shape, they're broke, they're hanging around a busted chick, and they're blaming everybody else for why they're in that position. It's like, no, motherfucker, that's you. That's your fault. Okay? Like, it take a look in the mirror. Like, really sit down and go, hey, man, I got $47 in my bank account. Whose fault is that? I'm fat. Whose fault is that? I'm drinking. I'm overeating. I'm turning to the vices. I'm scared. I'm confused. And I got a fat, fucking ugly girlfriend that I hate. Like, that is your fucking fault, dude. You got to get out of that. All right? Now, I could go further and further on how to get you out of that situation, but we got to carry on with the video. I'm not here to solve your problems in your relationship. But all I'm saying is if you're that guy, just know you ain't taking the accountability. And the only way out of that hole is to take accountability. That's number 2. Number 3, you got to be smart, confident, and have some integrity. All right? So this one kind of correlates with the first one. You got to be smart. Obviously, an uneducated man is not going to make it too far in life. All right? Now, have some of them done it? There's been college dropouts, high school dropouts even, that have gone on and had great entertainment careers, even come up with great inventions. But with where we are today, with all the technology that's out there, you got to have some kind of education, all right? And street smarts will only get you so far, all right? So you need to be smart and confident. Now, you're not going to be confident if you're not smart, okay? So if you're a sales guy, or even like if you're running your own business or a salesperson, it's pretty much any type of guy, really. I mean, plumber, electrician, whatever. All right, I'm going to try to break this down the best that I can. How being smart and educated leads into your confidence, okay? Because number one, nothing will make you more confident than knowing exactly what the fuck you're talking about, okay? So if you're in the workforce and somebody comes to you, a customer, and they ask you a question, you go, I don't know. Dude, like, that sucks. That person's not going to fuck with you. They're going to go on and find somebody that knows the answers, okay? And if you look at people in the workforce that are the most confident, they're the smartest and they know what they're talking about, okay? Like when you walk into a store, and this is getting harder and harder to find, by the way, and it really sucks because it doesn't matter if I walk into, a Lamborghini dealership or a fucking Walmart, okay? I want to find somebody there that knows what they're talking about. So for you guys that are at the lower level, working at a Walmart, listen up because this is going to help you. I know you working at Walmart seems like a fucking bullshit job. But dude, if you're the smartest guy there and you know what the fuck you're talking about, you're probably going to make the most money. But if you're at Walmart and you're the dumbest dude there, how the fuck are you going to make it past Walmart? Okay? Like, take your fucking job serious. Like, if you can't kick ass at Walmart and be the best guy at Walmart, bro, you're not gonna get like out of Walmart, go to a better department store and excel. Okay? Like, if you're in a crappy job and you're the worst guy at the crappy job, guess what? You're gonna be the worst guy at the next crappy job. So you got to know what you're talking about and educate yourself. And that's why I tell guys that are in the workforce, like, educate yourself 100% on everything about your job. That way, when people come to you, you can give them a confident answer, okay? The more you know, the more confident you're going to be, okay? And this is going to help you with women, too, because smart people are confident people because they're making the most money. And guess what? Women love guys with money. They like smart guys. And they like guys that are confident and are really strong and have big checkbooks. Okay? So, you see where I'm going with this? All right? If you're struggling with ladies, this list of things, of characteristics is going to help you. If you're struggling with making money, these characteristics that you need to start developing are going to help you make more money. If you're just not happy in your life and you're scared and you're confused and you're fucking depressed and all these things and you're turning devices, you're overeating, you're not exercising, you're fucking smoking, you're drinking, you fucked up. Chances are you don't have any of these qualities and all you got to do is start working on them. Completely turn your life around. All right, number 4, you have to be a great communicator and be humorous, have a sense of humor. All right? This is probably, number 4, number 5 on the list of the top 10 things that you would need. You got to be a good communicator and you got to be funny. All right? Like there's time for being serious, but you can't be a serious dick 24/7. All right? You got to be able to let loose, but you also got to know the limit of too much goofing off and too much serious, all right? There's a fine line here. All right, communication is key. All right, communication is going to help you in the workplace. It's going to help you run your business. It's going to help you with your family and friends, and it's going to help you with women, all right? If you go and ask, any woman on the street right now, anywhere in the country, communication is going to be one of the first things that they say. That one of the number one characteristics that they're looking for in a man is somebody who can communicate his emotions and what he's thinking very, very clearly and concisely and be consistent with it. Okay? Now, the best example of being a good communicator, especially when it comes to dealing with women, is right here. All right? You're going to have this every fucking time with a woman. All right? And you see, they make memes about it. It's like the most common interaction that you'll have with a woman. All right? She comes home. You guys are sitting there. What are we doing for dinner? I don't fucking know. Don't do that. Don't do that. Guys, you're shooting yourself in the foot, okay? This is communication 101, all right? When you go and you talk to a woman, all right, and you ask her out on a date, you need to know exactly where you're going, what time you're going to pick her up, and what you're going to fucking do, all right? Bring that to her, all right? Say, hey, so-and-so, we should go have dinner here, and then afterwards we'll go here, and I'll pick you up around 7:30. How does that sound? Rather than sliding into the DMs like, hey, what's up? We should hang out. Yeah, that's cool. What do you want to do? Fuck, I don't know. Like, you're going to be that, okay, you're going to get left on red right there, especially if you're kind of a goofy-looking motherfucker. But if you look like me and you got good money coming in, and you know how to communicate, and you're strong, and you take accountability, and you're smart, and you're confident, and you're a great communicator, guess what? You're going to fucking land that date every time. Because it's too easy. Because you know what the fuck you're doing. Because you're smart. You figured it out. You got confidence now. All right? So, be a great communicator. There's a lot of different ways that you can work on your communication skills. Literally thousands of hours of video on Google, on YouTube, how to be a great communicator, and how it will help you, increase your income, how it will help you with, people that you interact with. If you're not a very good communicator of your emotions and what you need people to do, like, the world's going to pass you by, man, and you're going to be very frustrated, all right? Because you're going to be thinking shit, and you're not going to have any way of telling people what you're thinking, and guess what? You're probably going to have all these ideas, and people are going to they're going to walk all over you, because you're not telling people, you're not able to communicate how you feel and what you want to happen to you, all right? So, where are we at? Number 5. Compassion and respects women, all right? This is extremely important. This is a very, very important characteristic of a great man, is somebody who has compassion and respects women, all right? Now, there's a fine line between respecting women and, like, simping, all right? And this is where a lot of guys go wrong, is being kind of over-compassionate, a little bit too open to women, you're too emotionally available, okay? And the women hate that, all right? Because you're acting like a woman. When you're too open and emotionally available and you're constantly, like, she can see that you're not super confident and you're really emotionally kind of up and down, that's how women are. And guess who women hate? Other women. So if you're the type of guy that's reminding her of her friend or her sister or her fucking mother, like, dude, you're dead in the water, all right? So compassion and respecting women, it comes from, having these other characteristics that I've listed off already, all right? When you're a strong person and you're accountable and you're confident and you have a lot of integrity, your compassion's, that's pretty much bred into you. Compassion is all about, how do you express your emotions? How do you express, what you feel to people that are around you? How do you control your emotions? Okay, do you just fly off the handle, when you're angry? Do you lose control? Can you control, not only your anger, but, like when something good happens, do you have to go off and, just spaz out and overindulge in, alcohol and partying and stuff like that? So the compassion is really about, how well you're able to express your emotions to the people around you. And women are going to love that. Somebody that's very compassionate, and respects them. If a woman brings you around like her family and you're very respectful to her mother and her father and maybe some of her younger siblings, and you play well with children and you get along with other people and stuff like that, they're going to see that, and that's going to really be a green flag for them, and it's going to do wonders for you when it comes to finding, a good woman. So, number 5 on the list of things that you need, characteristics and traits that you need to be a great man, number 5 is compassion and respects women. All right, so that's my top 5 things. Now, there's a whole list of things that make, a man great. It's not just, strength, accountability, confidence, communication skills, and compassion. Honesty's up there as well. If you're not honest, you're a liar. Obviously, you have to be honest as well. But I feel like, that one's really, really obvious. Like lying and being deceitful, that's a toxic trait. Okay. And I have, some toxic traits and some things that, guys should be avoiding. All right. And you need to listen to this too, because these things might be something that you're doing and you need to work on this. And you can't work on something that you're not aware of. All right. I see a lot of guys out there making a lot of mistakes. And I think a lot of them, the reasons that they're making these mistakes is because they don't realize that these qualities are toxic. And if you don't know, you're not going to be able to fix it. So obviously, being a very dishonest man is the number one worst fucking red flag trait that you can have, sir. Okay? If you're constantly lying and hiding things from your loved ones, your friends, your workplace, that's a no. You got to do something about that now. Okay? And it starts with accountability. Accountability will knock that lying shit right out. Okay? Another really, really toxic trait for men is being controlling and manipulative. All right. Now, I see a lot of guys, try to do this to women. All right. Or they do it to their family, or they do it to like their best friend. All right. I've seen this a lot. And it's always, if you're a controlling person, you're manipulative, these people have a lot of other toxic traits as well. All right. And I've known a lot of people that have these issues. And it's bad. It's really sad, to see somebody that's caught up with somebody that's controlling and manipulative, especially, in a relationship. I've seen, guys manipulate their own mom, their own parents, their grandmas, to try to get shit out of them, take advantage of them, guilt tripping people, shit like that. It's just sick, that ladies, do not, for any reason whatsoever, get involved with somebody that's controlling, manipulative, and dishonest, because you are going to lose every single time. And men, if you're one of these people, and you're controlling and you're manipulating your girlfriend or your wife, bro, you got to knock that shit off. Because guess what? Your girl, even though she's with you, she hates you. If you're one of these 3 things, she fucking hates you. And she's thinking about leaving you. And chances are she might already be going behind your back. These are the types of characteristics and traits that make women want to cheat on you, that make women not want to be with you, makes them not respect you. And it's crazy because every guy that I know that's been cheated on has been doing this kind of behavior. Okay? So if you're one of those dudes that's, man, women are all whores and they always fucking cheat on me. It's like, well, yeah, because you're probably a liar and a fucking controlling, manipulative piece of shit yourself. Knock it off. Anyway, moving on. The number 3 most toxic trait that I see men have, and I can't fucking stand this one, dude. This is a lot of guys. This is a lot of guys out there, and this is, this kind of goes along with what I'm saying. The powers that be, special interest groups, education system, just where we are as a culture, the attack, the war on men, is created this weak men society of victim players playing the victim. Okay, if this is a characteristic that you have, you gotta stop. I cannot stand this shit. All right, and I was just like this. I was a big victim player. All right, I always felt like the world was happening to me and that I was the only one that this shit was happening to. You got to realize that there's 7 billion fucking people out there. Life is not just happening to you. Your situation is not unique. You are not the only person who's struggling and has things going wrong for them. Okay? Quit playing the victim. Nobody wants to be around somebody that's a constant victim player. Women hate that shit. Other men hate that shit. No one's going to respect you. No one's going to want to be around you because that shit is fucking annoying. Anytime something happens, you ball up and you're like, oh, and you just throw a big fucking hissy fit and you don't take any accountability. It always leads back to accountability. Don't play the victim. Even if you were a victim, don't fucking be a baby about it. Man up. Make it right. If bad situations come your way, you got to be the guy that makes it all right. Know what to do, adapt, overcome. Turn the negative into a positive. And you can't do that if you constantly play the victim. Women hate that shit. Don't fucking do it anymore. All right. So, the last two, they kind of go together. Negativity and passive aggressiveness. All right. Obviously, being just a negative person, not being able to see the good in anything, and being passive aggressive, I can't stand it. And passive aggressiveness, I didn't even know really what it meant, but it was something that I was doing, to. And a lot of you guys are probably passive-aggressive without realizing it. And it kind of comes with being, negative and a victim player, passive-aggressive behavior. Okay? So this is why you really need to get your that victimhood and your negativity, get that under control. Because if you can get those two things under control, I feel like your passive-aggressiveness is going to go down. Passive-aggressiveness comes from guys that have a false sense of entitlement and like a false sense of pride. Okay, guys, you'll see guys that are passive aggressive. When they feel like they're super accomplished for not really have ever done anything. And passive aggressiveness. You ask any woman right now what's like something that the number one thing they hate the most in men. A lot of them are going to say passive aggressiveness. Passive aggressiveness ruins a lot of relationships, okay? And negativity, the same thing. If you can't find the good in anything, and there's a lot of women that are negative and passive aggressive, and that's why women hate this characteristic, is because it reminds them of other women. And when a woman is with a man, she does not want to feel like, she doesn't want to see womanly characteristics in you. They're just not attracted to that shit, okay? It's in their DNA not to be attracted to that, okay? It's just it's how the world works. And, when you're like, so something that I see a lot, and even in my relationships with women, is negativity is the biggest turnoff for me, and I know it's a huge turnoff for women as well. When you go in like a social setting and you're looking to have a good time and your partner is negative, they can't have a good time and they're just bad-mouthing everybody and they're bad-mouthing you and they're pushing, they're, making snide comments to you. It just fucking sucks. There's nothing worse than being in a relationship with somebody that just literally doesn't know how to have a good time. They always think that the fucking whole world is ending and everything sucks, but they also seem to have this weird like confidence in themselves. Like, I hate my life, but I'm still better than everybody. Like, fuck that shit. I can't stand it. That's negativity and passive aggressiveness. Fucking hate it. You know, there's just so many things that, you know, men need to work on in this country. We need to get back to where men are not under attack for being traditional, strong, you know, men. But the problem is that there's such a culture war going on that, like, traditional values in men are being, like, demonized as, like, you know, conservative. It's being politicized, you know, a man who wants to find, you know, a woman that cooks and cleans for him, that is traditional and doesn't want to, you know, draw a lot of attention to herself online, you know, a woman that is just, you know, that wants to be in that type of relationship with a strong guy, and that he's the breadwinner, he takes care of her, and she takes care of him in, you know, the parts of his life where he needs a woman. You know, this type of relationship is under attack, and it's sad. And this is like, you know, this is a very, you know, traditional type of relationship. It's the type of relationship that I want. And it's honestly, it's the type of relationship that the mass majority of the world is naturally drawn to. But for some reason, we have the media, social media, and the special interest groups, powers that be, all pushing this, like, saying that this is toxic. And we have all these, like, you know, these characteristics and traits and things that we've done for years that, you know, is all of a sudden being called into question. Like, wanting to have a family, you know, is somehow, like, not sustainable, and it's somehow they tie it in with climate change and toxic masculinity, and it's like, what in the fuck, dude? Like, you know, I grew up thinking that that's what you did as a man. You know, after high school, you went to college, you found your career, and you got married, and you had kids, and you taught them the same thing. You know, like, that's how I thought life would be. But it's just insane that there's pushback on that. And it's the most basic of, like, it's the most basic thing that, you know, it's basically what we were put here to do. And now there's just all this confusion, and, like, you know, men being under attack is so sad, because it creates all this confusion. It creates a lot of depression, and men are already, you know, statistically more likely to be depressed. They're more likely to, you know, to isolate themselves and go off and be like a lone wolf. They're more likely to end up in jail. They commit more violent crime, and, you know, it's sad that we're attacking these people, and, you know, we're not going to reverse that course, okay? You know, it's sad that, you know, men are more likely to be depressed and have all these problems. They're more likely to end up in jail and commit violent crime. We should be working to reverse that type of stuff, not pointing it out and demonizing people, and saying that we need to, like, essentially womanize men. You know, and a lot of this stuff comes from, you know, the feminist movement and their political pull, not only in Washington, D.C., but also in the corporate world. You know, the corporate world has been hit the hardest, you know, well, not really the hardest, but I mean, there's been a big shakeup. And there seems to be, like, this, you know, obviously throughout the years, you know, there have been some toxic climates, you know, not only in politics, but in the corporate world. But I don't think at any time ever was, treating a woman poorly or sexually harassing a woman, was that ever considered totally okay? That's always been, general consensus, not the right way of going about things. And that's why it was always hush hush. And that's why I feel like it got, a lot of those situations got swept under the rug, because the men that do engage in that type of behavior, they know that it's wrong, and that's why they try to hide it. I don't feel like in any corporate, structure, in their operating agreements or their in their, code of conduct, does it ever say that, the men are allowed to, force women, to do things against their will. It's never been allowed to sexually harass people. There have been some awful cases of that type of stuff going on, but I feel like in recent years we've had like this overcorrection and this over push to like try to right those wrongs, and now we're seeing, an overcorrection, and now we're having blowback from that. It's like we need to really have a level head, and I just feel like we're making a lot of mistakes here. And, men are paying the price. There's a lot of things that there's a lot of men that are not living up to their best selves. Okay. I know guys that are, and if this is you need to know, you need to knock this shit off. All right. Like guys that gamble, but they're not millionaires. Okay. If you're a millionaire or you're making like, several $100,000 a year and you want to gamble, that's one thing. But there's guys out there right now making 50, 60 grand a year, and they're fucking sports betting and they're gambling. Dude, what in the fuck is wrong with you? Like, gambling is a right that is earned. That's like a spoil yourself type of thing that is earned from being a high income earner. If you're not making at least $100,000 a year, and $100,000 a year ain't what it used to be. If you're not making at least $100,000 a year and you're gambling and you got like kids and a wife, you're a piece of shit. I don't even feel bad for saying that. Like, you're just putting your whole, your kids and wife and everybody at risk for gambling. Like, you know how many times people have lost all their shit from gambling? Like, that is a toxic, that right there is like some toxic men shit. You can't really blame that on masculinity. It's just ignorance. Another thing that I really don't like, and it's a quality of a lot of guys, I have friends that do this shit and I never will understand it, is like over gaming. Okay, I understand, turning the PS5 on, especially if you have a son and, you and your boy play, Call of Duty or something together, and that's how you connect with your child. But if you don't connect with your child because you're playing your fucking PlayStation, like, one of the sickest things that I've ever fucking seen, and this is like a normal thing for a lot of people, I see it online a lot, is a woman just had a baby and the dude's got his fucking headset and PS5 in the room with her. It's like, what are you doing? That is so fucking disrespectful. It's disgusting. You're sitting there. It's like, the gamblers and the gamers are like hand in hand with each other. Like, it's like if if your wife's sitting there, just had a baby, and you got your boys over there and you're, doing blackjack, in the fucking baby room. Like, come on. Like, with the way things are in the world right now, and I don't want to seem like I'm being, too hard on guys that game, because like I can understand some of it, but when it's like it consumes your life and that's not your profession. If you're not a professional gamer getting paid by a company or running your own business gaming, or a Twitch streamer, making millions of dollars, and you're just gaming just, for your hobby, like, dude, you need to find a new hobby. Because guess what? A lot of these guys that are just addicted to gaming, they're also addicted to porn. They're also out of shape. They also, they're not eating healthy. And guess what? They're lonely and sad and depressed and confused. And they're not scoring with the ladies either. Because they're addicted to this fucking game. Like, it's not healthy behavior for men. Okay? And I just, there's a lot of guys out there that, game with their child. That's all right. That's how you connect with your son, or your daughter, by all means. But gambling and gaming is just like, I can't justify that. And I don't want to hang out with dudes that do that shit. Like guys that that refuse to like do any type of physical activity. Like, how many guys I meet, like this is a really toxic behavior, really toxic male behavior. And it's not got anything to do with masculinity. It's demasculine. I've talked to a lot of guys that, they think they think they can beat just about anybody's ass. How many times you met somebody, it's like, oh, they're so confident in their ability to beat another man's ass, but when you ask them to come to like a martial arts gym to like, do some kickboxing or do jujitsu, they don't want to do it. They won't go to a gym and actually practice how to beat somebody up. But they're so confident in their fighting ability, but they don't ever want to put it to the test unless they're drunk or unless they get really, really mad. Like, that is some of the dumbest fucking male bullshit there is out there. Like if you're going to be the best version of yourself, martial arts is vital to you being the best male that you can possibly be. All of the top producers, all the top income earners are doing some form of martial arts. Maybe not like Bill Gates, because he's just a fucking straight pussy, and he's old. But like, even Mark Zuckerberg is training. I don't like Mark Zuckerberg at all, but at least the dude is serious. Like, he could probably beat a lot of people up. I've seen some of his rolling footage, like where he's doing jiu-jitsu and he's also working his striking. Don't sleep on that motherfucker, dude. He'll put up a fight, And that's the thing, like, you guys don't realize, like, a lot of guys, they're scared to get on the mat and go train, do martial arts. They don't want to get hurt or whatever. But it's like, dude, you'll realize that, like, you're not gonna get hurt. You're so confident to beat somebody's ass when you're drunk, but like, you're too scared to go train when you're sober. Like, you'll realize that the more you train, the less likely you are to get mad and get in a fight for no fucking reason. Because guess what? You can go to fucking prison for fighting. And if you're not mad enough to end somebody's life and go to prison, then you don't need to be fighting. If it's not something serious enough that you're going to take it to that level, you don't need to be fighting. Because if you can't handle life out here, you're definitely not going to be able to handle it in jail. But, I do think it is extremely important to know how to defend yourself in case that fight situation is thrown upon you. Okay, because we never really know. Especially with the state of the world right now, where we have millions of people from all over the world coming into the country and they're attacking people, murdering people. Like, there's never been a more important time than now for men to know how to defend themselves and their family. Carry a pistol, carry a knife, carry mace, carry, a lot of different things to help you defend yourself, and know how to fight. Know how to, defend a choke or defend a takedown and do your own takedown and lock in your own choke on somebody that's attacking you, and to be able to do it under pressure. That's a big thing that a lot of guys don't understand, is that, a lot of your fight knowledge goes out the window when you're put under pressure. You just go into instinctual fight mode. Okay, and your instinctual fight mode is not the best. All right, autopilot fight mode that your body goes into is pretty easy for people to beat. Okay, especially somebody that has a little bit of training. So that's why I say, like, guys need to be training to defend yourself. It just blows my mind how many guys, would rather, fucking do nothing, sit on the couch and talk shit, then go out and learn a skill, how to defend yourself. You also need to have some outdoorsy, skills, some like a little bit of survival skills, like how to start a fucking fire. How many guys know how to start a fire? If you were out in the woods and you didn't have a lighter or gas, could you start a fire? Like, could you legitimately do that? I would say at least half the dudes, if they were put in a survival situation, they couldn't even start a fire. You'd be fucked. I've read a lot of books. I've watched a lot of things on YouTube, done a lot of research on, the probability of me getting stuck out in the woods, pretty slim, but it might happen. I mean, you don't know. You can't say 100% that it's not going to happen. So I've done a lot of research on like what I would do in that situation. God forbid. My son's really into outdoorsy stuff, so he likes to go out there. And, I feel like that kid, he could definitely take care of himself. But, that's just him. So I'm going to wrap this video up. It's been a great episode. I think I got out just about everything that I wanted to say. I'm going to do some more videos on what's going on with the war on men. I want to help people. I want to help men better their lives and become the best versions of themselves. I try my hardest to better my life every single day. All right? I'm in the gym. I'm training. I'm eating healthy. I'm, making sure that I'm accountable, that I'm in the right frame of mind. I'm getting my finances right. I'm constantly investing, looking for new ways to make money, and making sure that I'm overall a happy, healthy guy for my kids and my family and the people that depend on me. All right, that is what is the most important thing for us as men to be doing. And just understand that there's a lot going against us right now as men, and there's only so much that you can do. You can't save everybody. You can only save yourself. So with that being said, I hope you enjoyed the video. Make sure to like and subscribe. Follow me on Instagram. Message me, and I'll see you guys in the next video. I love you guys. Peace.